Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about The View. Again, the reason we're going to talk about The View is apparently they're out there saying that they'd love to have more Republicans on the show, but Republicans are afraid of them and they don't want to come on.
Well, a couple things here. One, they were making sure they weren't putting Republicans on before. Like they were joking. We joked before about how it's all Democrats on there all the time. Thing is, one, you're going to talk about the fact people said that they did try to get on the show.
Yes.
But two, I mean, when they've had people on there that weren't leaning as far as they did, they have gone out of their way to be dicks to them.
Yes.
Like even when Arnold Schwarzenegger was on there and he was talking about, immigration and stuff, they kept putting their hand on his, like tapping my arm, like to shut up. But he kept saying stuff that they didn't want to hear. So, no one's buying this bullshit that they want them to come on, but they're afraid of The View. People aren't afraid of you.
No, and yeah, I've seen on X, and we're going to see this coming from Fox News, and I think Axios has some receipts too. But people are saying, hey, we reached out to them last year, they never got back to us. We wanted to go on, they won't debate us because Sonny Hostin's not terribly intelligent. Joy Behar is not terribly intelligent. I'm sorry.
Whoopi Goldberg also not terribly intelligent.
she plays intelligent people on TV, but yeah. And they can't win a debate, I don't think. They've had people on that were mild. Not even, like, I wouldn't even, like you said, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is basically an old school Democrat, even though he was Republican for a while, and they couldn't even handle that.
No, that's just it. They're like, you have Whoopi over there having a meltdown because basically kind of trying to imply someone didn't make cupcakes for her because of her political leanings or because she's black and stuff like that. They're just, when you're so politically pickled that everyone you see is your enemy, of course they don't have them come on there because they're chicken shit.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about Sonny Hostin getting into it with RFK Jr.'s wife, Cheryl Hines, actress.
Yeah, I saw the clips. Yeah.
And so that whole thing is like, yeah, it's like, well, he's not a doctor, and she really gave it back to her. We'll talk about that. TV Insider has it too. The View host makes shocking confession about Republican guests. Like, well, they wouldn't go on. No, that's not true. Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo?
Yeah, so we'll go with Fox News. Why the hell not? Conservatives come with the receipts after The View claims they're too afraid to come on the show. That's hilarious. We're not afraid of you, says XXXY owner Jennifer Say. I don't know who she is, but they said high-profile conservatives are pushing back on The View with proof that they're highly willing to appear on the show after a host suggested they were too scared to come on the liberal program.
They actually said this?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I was writing a joke that they never have anybody on that's conservative, and and I mean, it can't be a case where people wouldn't come on the show. It's just a case of where they aren't asking them for whatever reason. That's what it always seemed like to me.
Cheryl Hines, the thing about her is she is, again, old school liberal, and she was loved by Hollywood. They loved her and they loved her husband until he, got pushed out of the Democratic Party and teamed up with Trump. But now, she's the enemy too. So it's like, so many people that were beloved by Hollywood, and then all of a sudden, and they haven't changed. They're not carrying the water anymore for the donkey.
And it's Joy Behar made the comment. Oh, shocker! That's who I would have guessed said it. It was either gonna be her or Whoopi, but my money was more on Joy. Yeah,
Whoopi. I don't know. I always get the vibe with Whoopi. I think she's playing the part. Like I don't know if she believes a lot of what she says. I think she's playing the part. But like none of this shit would have happened. Things wouldn't have gotten to the point that they're at right now. Barbara Walters was still alive. If Meredith Vieira was still on the show, I think they would have reined it in a little bit. But now it's just like the inmates are running the asylum. Joy's always been kind of a loose cannon.
Well, even when they had people on there that were more right wing, they just chased them off. They
chased them off, yeah. Yeah. So they said after actress Cheryl Hines, wife of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appeared on the program on Tuesday. The show's liberal co-host remarked that they'd like more guests who aren't aligned with them politically. Sure they would. That aren't aligned with them politically, with Joy Behar adding that Republicans are scared to come on.
Oh, I guarantee they're inundated with offers of people wanting to come on now.
Yeah, well, this is one I saw. Clay Travis had on X. He actually had the email that he sent to The View in July, I think, of last year, and they never got back to him.
No.
Joy Behar says Republicans are afraid to come on The View. This is a lie. I'm happy to come in for a visit. Yeah, here we go. This was when was this? We'll take a look at this. I think it was 2024. Yeah, last July.
Was that July 2025 or 2024?
I think it was 2024.
Because technically last July would be
Last
2025.
July.
So that's why
Yeah,
I'm
well,
saying.
whatever. Well, yeah, I guess it would be. Anyway, yeah, so that was months ago. Travis posted an email to his producer sent to The View expressing interest in him and radio co-host Buck Sexton traveling to New York for an appearance, suggesting a sit-down would be productive for both audiences since they come from two completely different perspectives. Sexton added the program has no love for them. Outkicks Riley Gaines, a well-known advocate for protecting women's sports, posted when I was pitched to go on, they said no, to accompany a viral clip of Behar claiming Republicans don't want to come on the daytime Gab Fest. So there's another higher profile conservative.
Oh,
no,
you know
they're not
what?
interested.
I hope you want a ratings boost, Disney. You get conservatives on there, and you let them try to talk down to them and see what happens. You know,
Jerry Springer this shit. That's what
yeah. You want views? There you go. Have your lawyers ready so Sonny has to read retractions as needed. But
that would be oh my God. People would watch that. Well, the thing is, The View used to actually have different views. It used to be all the
that
women
was
on
why
the
it
show.
was called The View.
Like My View, and they had women from different different parts of the country, different ages, different political backgrounds, and they would sit down and kibitz about stuff. But mostly it wasn't really a lot of politics. It was like, oh yeah, my kids and this movie and the whatever cooking and blah 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 blah. Right. But now it's basically just a hive mind. And they don't want to be contested. But yeah, Disney, if you want ratings, you get Matt Walsh said he would go on. For some reason, they also turned me down. That would be a thing.
I'll go on.
There you go. Geeky will go on.
I'm more independent, but still,
Well, I don't even think, like I said, you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would not consider Arnold Schwarzenegger a true conservative, really.
But I wouldn't consider him far leftist either.
Oh, hell no. No. But I'm just saying he's definitely more, I think, centrist. I think he actually leans probably more left now.
See, I'm more centrist, but yeah.
But he was too much for them. Like, they couldn't handle him. I mean, he's supposed to be Republican.
I know.
They couldn't handle Arnold Schwarzenegger having very mild takes.
Because looking at them and saying, are you stupid? Isn't going to probably fly.
Fox News Digital obtained emails showing a booker for The View either denying or dodging offers to have on such prominent conservative guests as Gaines, Matt Walsh, New York Post columnist Carol Markowitz, Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer was told there wasn't room at the moment when a representative pitched him appearing on Veterans Day next month. In 2023, Newsbusters reported that Ted Cruz, who's been in the program in the past, wanted to appear on The View during a promotional book tour but was turned down. Wow. XXXY owner Jennifer said, I don't know who half these people are. I'm going to be honest. I really don't. Said, this is hilarious. We aren't afraid of you. You reject us all when we are pitched to go on your show. Others have taken to social media with similar claims as Byron Donalds. My offer still stands. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, that was a dumb thing to say because now they're just going to, and you have to do it. And this comes after, too. The one chick said that she would wear a MAGA hat if Trump ended the war, and she isn't doing it.
She's not doing it.
She used to work with. She was part of his first term, wasn't she? Like,
I think so. Yeah. So this comes from Axios. MAGA escalates war on The View. MAGA escalates war on The View.
No, it's called. You said you're going to do it. Do it. Plus, they're also pointing out the fact that you are deliberately ignoring requests from conservatives, claiming you're not, and saying they're too scared.
Yeah.
It's like. You said that, but you aren't. Like, I just can't wrap my head around that. Like, people are going to have proof, right? I can't even see. That's why they can't put me on the show because I'd just be like, pull your head out of your ass, you look stupid, and I'd say that on air, and then they'd have to beat me out. So,
Alyssa Farrah Griffin breaks her promise to wear a MAGA hat. Okay, so though MAGA figures have been long criticizing The View, especially after it hired Griffin, a former aide to Trump, as the show's lone conservative voice, they've seen the possibility of her wearing a MAGA hat as a potential cultural win. So she promised to wear a MAGA hat on air if Trump negotiated Gaza peace deal. Well, he did. If Trump gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on this show and say thank you for doing it. She said, you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoings.
Well, I agree with that. I think that you have to, that's the problem. People don't want to, they all are just so my side, that they will not recognize when things are done correctly. And that's something that I'm concerned about. Like I've talked before about, there's people who I absolutely did not get along with at all, like when I did PTO and stuff. But if they had a good idea, I wasn't going to say it was a bad idea because I didn't like them. And people were like, why did you go along with that? And it's like, because it was a good idea. I mean, obviously.
The deal was finalized over the weekend. As Trump said on Sunday, the war in Gaza was over. All 20 living Israeli hostages were freed by Hamas on Monday. Griffin didn't wear the hat on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Whether you like Trump or not, I think he, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner deserve credit for this deal. She said on Monday. So, obviously, they were new episodes, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah, these are the new ones. Yeah.
So, MAGA had eyes on it. Donald Trump Jr. tweeted a clip of Griffin's promise, sending this to the top. Let's go. CJ Pearson wrote, we're all waiting. John Rich, member of Big and Rich, wrote, she'll never do it.
Here's the thing. If she's supposed to be their conservative voice, quote unquote, why won't she wear the hat?
Well, she doesn't like Trump. She didn't think he was going to be able to do it. That's what.
Oh, I know.
Griffin disabled comments
on an
X post.
Quote unquote, she's their conservative person, quote unquote.
Yeah. Then Trump, well, that's the thing. Even their conservatives that they get on there, they get like McCain's daughter on there, like people that are not really that conservative by, you know what I'm saying? They're not getting like hard right or staunch conservative voices on there because they can't handle it. Their audience
they usually leave and
tolerate
quit too. Not just that, because they quit because the other hosts make it insufferable, I'm sure.
Well, Candace Cameron,
she
was on. Yeah, she was on there. She was on there for a while.
She was. I think she said it was hard because she kept having to fly from, different coast to coast and stuff and different things, and said it was hard. I'm sure it was hard just because of the way they behaved. But that's
I'm sure it was.
Opinion.
Yeah, that's just your opinion. No, I'm sure they some of the people there probably made their life a living hell. But it's because I watched them before. I mean, hell, they were giving it to Raven Simone before. Like Simone had some very mild takes, and I remember they were giving it to her, and she's gay and she's pretty liberal, I thought, but not enough for these.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because they're talking about the what happened. They said she denounced the January 6th Capitol attack as was happening. Well, look, a lot of people thought, that shouldn't be happening. She said, but I also think they blew it out of proportion. She said she received threats from the left and right for working in the White House. Well, that I believe because we've gotten gotten called, somehow we're all, liberal snowflake and alt-right Yahtzee at the same time.
Yeah.
But this next one, she became the official View co-host in August 22. Filling the conservative slot vacated by Meghan McCain. So basically, you're admitting there's one conservative slot.
Yes, we have.
We have one on our show, so that that fits our version of conservative. So that you can't say that we don't have somebody on the other side to voice it. You have one slot by your own admission, one slot.
And it's like, to the 3 or 4 liberals. And the thing is that, again, Meghan McCain, I'm sorry, I almost said Meghan Markle. Yeah, they should get her on the show, too. Meghan McCain, she definitely is centrist leaning left.
Well, that's just it. By conservative, like they mean, like, I'm not conservative.
Far left,
Like, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I'm not. I mean, I'm centrist. And sometimes, I always lean left now because anything, a little bit right of far left is considered alt-right. I guess that would be, I'm leaning right now, even though I've never changed. I've always was like leaning left but centrist. And I still stay in the center because sometimes I agree with the right and sometimes, most of the time I agree with the right. I used to agree with the left sometimes, but lately, no. But I'm just saying, I don't consider myself either. I'm more of an independent or a centrist. And I think we need people that are more, rational again. Whether you lean left or right, we need, especially on the left, we need some rational voices.
That is funny, though.
The View isn't it.
The conservative slot. The sole conservative-ish person.
That was my nickname in high school.
Wait, what?
The conservative slot. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Wow. I think we're going to have a conversation after this episode. I just want to know what your definition of conservative
Yeah,
is.
I'm not conservative.
How conservative we're talking here. Let's talk about Sonny Hostin here real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. So, yeah, Sonny Hostin got into it with Cheryl Hines. And, again, Cheryl Hines was kind of a Hollywood darling, and then, and she's married to a Kennedy, right? I mean, so is Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? And it doesn't. Were they still married, or did they get divorced? I don't remember.
Oh, they got. Wait, who?
Schwarzenegger. He was married to Maria Shriver.
He divorced. They got divorced a long time ago because it turned out he cheated.
Yeah, that's right, with the maid or something.
Yeah, they got divorced a long time ago.
Hasta la vista. But they were married for a while, right? So, like, you marry Kennedy, you're in like Flynn. Well, that's the way it used to be, and now it doesn't work that way anymore because the Kennedys are traitors. So Cheryl Hines stopped by The View on Tuesday in support of her new book. And while there, the host pressed her about her husband's health advice and views. It got tense at various points, with Hines even asking Sonny Hostin to let her finish speaking during one exchange.
Good.
The moment came as Hostin called out Kennedy as the least qualified Secretary of Health in history. The host was quick to remind Hines and the audience that Kennedy has no scientific or medical background.
Neither do a lot of the ones that are.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Yeah, which Hines pushed back on by knowing that one of President Obama's secretaries of health was an economist. Hines questioned why Kennedy's lack of medical or scientific experience made him less qualified than an economist, and also touted his record as a lawyer. But Hostin pushed back further. He's also spread a lot of misinformation, a lot of chaos. According to her, a lot of confusion. I think it's just a very dangerous thing.
What? But what was it? Okay, then be specific. What did he spread that wasn't right?
Hines tried to use Hostin's mention of misinformation and disinformation to direct the conversation to the early days of COVID. He's connected circumcision to autism. Hostin cut in. "May I finish?" she said. The actress then called out Anthony Fauci for initially saying that getting the vaccine would prevent transmission of COVID. Yes,
and they kept telling you, like, you're good. You get that shot, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. So Alyssa Farrah Griffin, the lone conservative-ish person who's not wearing a MAGA hat, cut in and said that COVID was still a novel virus at the time, and everyone, including experts, was still learning about it.
They basically
Fauci knew what it was.
They admitted later. Well, yeah, he was kind of one of the ones that were over there. But that's a whole other story.
Kind of, sort of.
They admitted later that like they didn't really know what to do, so they were just like, put a mask on, social distance, and they were just making shit up to make people feel better because yes, it was a new virus, but. The promises about COVID and the way that they were treating people if you didn't get the shot because you didn't want to take an experimental shot were ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And then they were like, if you weren't allowed to mention COVID or you'd be silenced. You weren't allowed to question anything or you'd be silenced.
You were racist. You were racist if you said it came from China. You were a racist.
Yeah, but it did. But here's the thing. It's like, it was insane. And her argument is dumb. Well, we'll talk about other, secretaries and stuff. Let's talk about the Levine. So they put that Levine in from PA as like assistant secretary of health. Yes, they were a doctor. But this is also a person who came under fire in PA. Yeah, I know. Also came under fire in PA because they were doing things with nursing homes that put a lot of people at risk.
Yeah.
And they came up under all kinds of fire because they refused to do things. They made sure they got their mom out, but then they put other people in nursing homes and it put them at risk and people died and they got called out for it. And then they got made assistant secretary of health or whatever.
I was just going to say, I loved her in Weapons. She was great.
I love it. Believe the science. Which science are we supposed to believe at this point in time?
As a resident of Pennsylvania, I'd like to apologize for Rachel Levine and Shapiro and the rest of them. Yeah, Pennsylvania. We have conversations all the time about the utter state of Pennsylvania and how it's such a.
The only one making sense right now is
Fetterman. Which I
don't always agree with Fetterman, but he's making sense.
For the record, I have always liked John Fetterman.
I didn't like him when he basically was like, men can play female sports. I didn't like that.
But he was in charge of Bradford, and we were actually part of it. It's a whole long thing. We were part of an economic development task force thing several years ago. But he was kind of like Western PA kind of looked at him as being like, this is how you do it. You take a burnout manufacturing town and you turn it into something else. You give it a glow up, right? And then, the economy improves and yada, yada, yada. But so I was aware of him, and I actually always, kind of like the guy. And
well, I don't always agree with him, but
I don't always agree with him.
I think he's making a lot of sense right now. But anyway, back to other things. Here's my... These people on The View are always like, well, what about the science? And I think it's funny because which science are you going to believe? Because there's a lot of these people, and this is across the board. Like, you're going to say this science is, this is accurate, but this science isn't. It's like, well, you have to pick your mind. If you're going to say believe the science, then you have to believe all the science. You can't just cherry pick the science. If you say my body, my choice, well, that would apply to not just, whether you're going to have a baby, but that would apply to whether or not you want to inject it full of stuff you don't want to inject it with.
Right.
But there's a definite, but you're not allowed to say that. And that's the double standard. That's bullshit.
That's what I had a huge problem with. They're like, my body, my choice. But by God, if you don't get this experimental shot, we're going to make sure you can't work anywhere. You can't travel anywhere. You might as well just dig yourself a ditch and drop into it because your life is over. And there were people cheering that on. It was crazy. Twitter was insufferable. Everybody was like, you just want to kill grandma. I'm like, no, I don't want to kill grandma. I don't want to die either. And we know people personally who have had adverse reactions.
I think
one of them
hard
dead.
Pressed to find anyone who doesn't have some connection to somebody who passed away or had problems. You're not going to, whether it be from the shot or whether it be from actually getting ill. But
Trump killed them.
This whole argument though, they're like, well, he's not a scientist. Well, they were the ones the doctors and scientists that you listen to, look what they did and look where people are at. So I don't want to hear it, but don't ever go there with the science bullshit because if you're going to trust the science and you're going to believe the science, and that's what they want to say, well, then you have to agree with all the science. And that doesn't mean it's right or it's true either. Like, they were telling people all kinds of shit about COVID and about the vaccines that weren't true.
Well, who else was a scientist was Dr. Mengele. And, look how that turned out.
This is like a side tangent, but it always pisses me off when they try to argue that. Or they make that argument, like, well, you get to trust the science. And it's
trust the science, and it's whatever we say it is today.
Okay, the Tylenol situation, for example, okay? They have all kinds of documentation going back for years showing that there apparently was connections between Tylenol and things that they told pregnant women not to take it. Or they recommended. Yeah. Even Tylenol recommend pregnant women don't take Tylenol. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's necessarily connected to autism, but they've done research on it prior to Trump and RFK saying it. It's been researched for years, and even some of the same networks that were like pissing out now and saying, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true." Were like 3 years ago talking about, "Oh my gosh, this is something we should be concerned about because the science says." So don't give me believe science because you don't. That's bullshit. You don't even believe the science. You believe whatever science aligns with what you want to believe, just like you're accusing everybody else of doing. So don't sit there and tell people to believe the science when you yourself only cherry pick what science you believe too.
There you go. You tell them.
I would. Come on. Let's go.
You get on that show. And you tell Whoopi Goldberg what's what. And also tell her I like Guinan on Star Trek getting an autograph. Then you tell her what's what.
That's right.
Get that autograph first, though. And then have at it. It's like, thank you, Whoopi. Now sit and spin, bitch.
I won't be in the show long.
All right.
Her language just won't allow us to air it. Anyway.
Are you going to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Please.
Wait. We're coming for it. Let's see. You put your money where the mouth is. The View. Republicans too scared. There's a bunch willing. You put them on and see what happens.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I
get
watch
the popcorn.
The shit out of that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At Disney, were smart. Put these girls on the spot. They have had an echo chamber long enough. Put them on the spot. Let them debate with people, and then have to actually prove that their points. Go ahead. Your viewership will skyrocket. Just do it.
Libs of TikTok should be invited to the table just permanently. Just bring her in. What's her name? Kyra.
There you go. You need another slot.
Yeah, you need another conservative slot. So fire Sonny.
That's what they're calling them. They're just the slots.
Anyway. Slots. You liberal slots.
Are we done? Now we can
end. Ignorant slots.
We can end now. Sorry.
All right. There we go. Please subscribe. I don't know why you would, but please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.